Okay, so I told myself I wouldn't do one of these, at least for a while. But I looked at Hohenheim Gregor and Sinclair on a stream. So I don't know. I might not even post this. What the fuck is happening? I've looked at this a little bit and I was like, do I go live? Do I record? And you know what? I'm gonna record because, dude, what the hell is happening? First of all, second of all, like, what? I mean, most of this is like, well, actually, no, these are all, what is going on? Okay, there's a lot to cover here, and I'm going to try and keep this under 30 minutes. I don't want to go off forever. This is one ID. This is the first time I've been overwhelmed. I was reading this a little bit, and I was like, I am genuinely so overwhelmed by this that I have to just talk it out. I don't even know where's best to begin. I usually like to start with his actual skills, so fuck it. First of all, I think... What am I saying? I think. He has a 9-coin skill. This is the ID with the most coins ever. 2, 3, 4 is pretty standard, and then, you know, having a 9-coin skill is a little bit out of standard, to say the least. So that kind of throws off the average. I really thought it was gonna be reuse, like actual Rien. But no, it's just 9 coins. And I guess we'll get to that soon. The first thing I want to see, there's so many passives. Yes, this. So prescript device based on unlock stage on self. Yep. Inflict the prescript's target. All the effects above. Okay, let me actually read this. Random enemy gets prescript's target. That's standard. Apply mark of the prescript to base attack skills on this unit's dashboard. That's also standard. And it will prioritize his skill 3. Okay. The main thing I want to see is if his conditionals to get the prescripts are the same. Would that be in the statuses? Yes, okay. Actually, this is what I want to look at first. Use a skill, hit his target, gain Procuration Hermes. Repeat this prescript until Procuration Hermes reaches X stacks. So they're actually slightly different. And I saw earlier that with enough of this Procuration Hermes, you get to use Furioso. I like that it's at least slightly different. I was a little bit disappointed that Faust and Dawn had the exact same prescripts, but it's not that big a deal. I'll finish reading these passives, at least the relevant ones. Turn end, if prescript is not executed this turn, gain karmic consequences. Unlock stage X, do not gain it. Yeah, this is the exact same as Index Faust and Index Dawn. At X, grace a prescript on turn end, gain unlock 1, 2, or 3. Turn start unlock stage X, gain Shin Fate. Yep. Okay. Passive, the Index Nursefather. Upon entering the encounter for the first time, gain Wound Casing Mask, which I saw on here. Gain offense level, lose defense level. Takes less damage from unopposed attacks. Okay, sure. Why not? So whatever his offense level is in game, he'll just have a bit. He'll have an additional bit when he enters an encounter. Turn end, if this unit was staggered for the first time in this encounter while under this effect, recover from stagger, excluding force stagger, and convert Wound Casing Mask to Sizzling Wound. You gain offense level, lose defense level, I assume more. Take less damage from unopposed attack. Turn start, gain burn and bleed. Deal more damage with base attack skills, unbreakable coins. Interesting. I mean, that makes sense, considering it's a sizzling wound. Sizzling, burn, wound, bleed. Yep, that's how English works. I'm a bit tired. Apply Desire for Acknowledgement Sated to Dawn when both are on the field. Yeah, I saw this symbol. This is fucked up. Deal more damage with skills marked with... Deal more damage with skills marked with Mark of the Prescript, and deal more damage against the Prescript's targets. So just an upscale for Index Dawn, which she probably didn't need, but that's nice. That's actually relatively simple. So people were telling me on Twitter, because I was confused about the... They showed him getting hit and doing an animation, and people mentioned that it's kind of like Lehang Merceau, and this is pretty much exactly like Lehang Merceau, except it seems like there's almost no downside to this, besides the burn and bleed, which I doubt would be that high anyways, unless they do make it really high. Like, bleed could be bad, especially with unbreakable coins, like, adding on more bleed to that stack. Like, burn is never going to be that big of an issue. It can put you on a timer, but you need to be applied a lot. So, Oracle Device Caduceus. A random weapon is assigned to every coin for base attack skills. I was hoping they would do this. Each weapon has a unique effect. Okay, let me just go through these, because this is a majority of the third page. When hacking through the ribs with a hatchet, does blunt damage, and on hit without cracking, you gain poise. When penetrating the lugs with a stiletto, does pierce damage, inflicts sinking. When cleaving through the shoulder and the skull with a bastard sword, this coin deals slash damage, more damage, and you gain offense level up next turn if it doesn't crack. When punching 10 or more holes in the torso with a rapier, it does pierce damage, more damage, and on hit without cracking, inflicts defense level down. When caving in the back of the skull with a hammer, it does blunt damage, more damage, and on hit without cracking, raise target's stagger threshold by X, so tremor kind of. When rending the body with a great sword, it does slash damage, more damage, inflicts slash fragility next turn. Until next turn. That's a phrasing that's never... Wait, why does it say that? That's just inflicting slash fragility. That's such a weird phrasing. That fucked me up. Yeah, until next turn, which means it would expire the same turn. Why is the phrasing different? Okay, that's very strange. When boring a 20-inch hole with a lance, does pierce damage, more damage, and pierce fragility. When ripping the flesh to 10,000 strips with a whip, blunt, more blunt, and blunt fragility. And then when lacerating through space itself with the scythe, like a certain someone, does slash damage, more damage, and without cracking, it's a guaranteed crit. Which, I feel like that effect isn't as good as these other fragility ones, but it is a cool effect. I like that. Yeah, this is super cool. I'm really glad they fully committed to this. I think a lot of bosses, when they're converted into IDs, lose something. I think Leheng Merceau, technically he lost the prey mechanic from the Leheng fight. But everything else is like pretty much what Leheng had. But Leheng's kit was not nearly as like complicated on the actual skills itself. Rien was, and is, and all of it seems to be here and maybe a bit more. Okay, now that that's done, gain Procuration Hermes when using skills with Mark of the Prescript. Okay, so this is basically something you want to be doing anyways. This just is going to happen passively. That's nice. Obviously you need that to use Furioso and also to get more SP and Grace of the Prescript. Convert Wound Casing Mask to Sizzling Wound at the end of the turn. This unit used Furioso Replica for the first time in this encounter. Turn start, if this unit has Sizzling Wound and has Furioso Replica on the dashboard, gain Indulgence and Prescripts. You get min and max speed, and you apply the following effects to Furioso Replica. On hit, inflict more sinking potency and gain more poise potency. On hit, inflict sinking count. Deal more damage, expires at turn end. Also, why does he look like the fucking Joker? Why is he smiling like that? Calm down. So, what that... Okay, that's on the 9th coin. Okay, I was gonna say, holy shit. So that means that every hit of this skill inflicts +1 sinking count, so this is just a free 9 sinking procs. So this is their answer to Sinking Deluge, huh? Obviously the use cases are different, and this is more setup than Sinking Deluge, but what the... yeah. Huh. Yeah. Also, not to mention, he has all 3 damage types. Just, this is the first ID to ever do that. Also, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself still somehow. I've read this effect. There's still more passives to go. Imitation of a Life. Deal more damage with skills marked with Mark of the Prescript for every X Grace of the Prescript on self. At Y Grace of the Prescript, deal more damage with base skills instead. Standard for the index. On hit with base attack skills, Unbreakable Coins gain Procuration Hermes. Attack end, gain Procuration Hermes equal to the number of remaining Unbreakable Coins. Okay. So Procuration Hermes probably stacks up really high, and I didn't read what it did. Turn start at X stack, a powerful skill becomes available. Sure. That's probably at max. Can be gained up to unlock stage plus X stack per turn. At below unlock stage X, this effect's maximum stack is limited to Y. So it doesn't do anything on its own. It's just literally a counter. That is fine. I would have been concerned if this gave, like, offense level. I'm not concerned. I would have been surprised if it gave offense level, because it seems like you would get a lot of it. Furioso Replica attack end. Gain Procuration Hermes next turn equal to number of this skill's remaining Unbreakable Coins divided by X rounded down. I don't know why I was under the impression you could only do this once per turn? Or once per battle? It doesn't seem that way. Yeah, because you keep the Sizzling Wound. So you have Sizzling Wound and Indulgence in Prescripts. Indulgence in Prescripts would go away once you use Furioso, but you still have Sizzling Wound, and you can still build back up the Procuration Hermes. And you get a little refund. Which, to be fair, a 9-coin skill is probably not going to clash all that well. Genuinely. Mostly because of the way the Sandy system works. Even 45 SP, you're running 9 checks at a 5% chance, like, you're probably missing some coins. I have no clue what the fuck it's gonna roll. Nobody does. So, there's that. If Procuration Hermes reached X stacks this turn at turn end, and if this unit does not have a skill 3 on the dashboard at the start of the next turn, convert a base skill to skill 3. What? I mean, that doesn't sound insane, but it's just ridiculous to me that, like, they say, nah, you don't need to wait. Here's a skill 3. You've been a good boy, so here's your 9-coin skill. It's important to bear in mind, this is either a resonance or owned actual passive. It's not just, like, a passive. So, this might not always activate. I'd be surprised if it's resonance, though, because this really feels like an owned. But if it is resonance, you definitely want to activate it the turn you get to max Procuration Hermes. Because, wow. I'm wondering if, because it says it prioritizes the skill in the leftmost slot's bottom row, could you place a defense skill and kind of cheat? If you can place a defense skill, because this is something that discard IDs do all the time, place a defense skill over a skill 3 or something, and then if it prioritizes the skill in the leftmost slot's bottom row, if it can't override defense skills, it'll override the one on top, right? So you could theoretically have a Furioso on top and a regular skill 3 on the bottom, so you can go Furioso into skill 3. I don't know if that's how it would work, but that makes sense to me. It could also... I know it says, like, if the unit does not have a skill 3 on the dashboard at the start of the next turn. But, I mean, technically, in that instance, the defense skill is there, not the skill 3. I wonder if the game will be able to detect that. That's very interesting. Anyways, Grace of God! Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior Hermes? Deal more damage with Slash, Pierce, and Blunt base attack skills that are used for the first time by any ally each turn. Once per type across all allies. The index identities deal even more damage instead. This effect's application is determined before attack. Does this affect your entire team? Deal more damage with Slash, Pierce, and Blunt base attack skills that are used for the first time by any ally each turn. Once per type across all allies. I'm at a loss for words a little bit at how much they're giving this man. They're giving him everything. I mean, it's the grace of God. Who am I to deny, I suppose? It'd be blasphemous for me to refute. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a lot of passives. And we haven't even talked about the actual skills, which, to be fair, these don't seem that complicated, funny enough. Enwrap 330 times in long swaths of frozen blood. 2-coin Blunt Gluttony skill. X minus karmic consequences divided by Y percentage chance to produce a blunt weapon. So, You just want low karmic consequences because blunt weapons deal more damage on the blunt skill. Who would have thought? Which, to remind you, the blunt weapon effects I think are pretty simple. Yeah, gain poise, raise stagger threshold, and inflict blunt fragility. Can you get the same weapon? It seems like you can. Could you not just get blunt fragility into blunt fragility? Dude, this character is gonna be so fun. I'm sorry. Just having the little gacha mechanic of like, oh, you don't know what weapons you're gonna get, just adds so much to how fun a character is. It's like, ah, damn, I got so unlucky. I pulled the stupid fucking stiletto instead of getting the lance. Like, what the fuck are we even doing anymore? In a good way. Gain coin power for every X poise on self plus sinking on target. Yep, standard. Convert coins equal to unlock stage minus X into unbreakable coins, beginning with the final coin. Wow, so he's not even an all or nothing. He is just... He will continually gain more unbreakable coins. Okay. On use, gain poise count. And the second coin, guaranteed on hit, you gain poise. And on hit without cracking, you always inflict sinking. Yep, and this means you're more likely to be gaining poise from this skill just because it is a blunt skill. The other ones don't give you effects, which, same thing for piercing, but with sinking, which we're going to see here. Revel with soundless applause, impale and voiceless sorrow, whatever the hell that means. 3-coin pride pierce skill. Same thing as the blunt skill, but with pierce weapons. Pierce weapons deal more damage. Oh, I totally missed this. If this skill is marked with Mark of the Prescript, gain clash power and deal more damage for the skill 1. For the skill 2, if the skill is marked with Mark of the Prescript, gain final power, and then you gain coin power for every X poise on self and sinking on the target. Same conversion of coins to unbreakable coins. You gain poise. Second coin inflicts sinking guaranteed. Third coin gives you poise count and inflicts sinking count. The skill 3 is Gloom / Raise and Laugh the Blade, Cry the Waterfall, like the Scent of Fallen Leaves. 4 coins, by the way, which is always pretty good. Turn start at X, Procuration Hermes. Change this skill to Furioso Replica. Prioritizes the skill on the leftmost slot's bottom row on the dashboard. For use at less than X Procuration Hermes, use as a skill 3. Same thing as the other 2 skills, but this time is slash weapons. If this skill is marked with Mark of the Prescript, deal more damage. Gain coin power for every X poise on self and sinking on the target. On use, convert coins to unbreakable coins. On use, gain poise count, and gain additional poise equal to unlock stage. And then the on-hit effects, you gain poise, inflict sinking, do more damage for every X unlock stage, and on crit you gain poise count, and on hit without cranking... Why do I want to say cranking? Without cracking, inflict sinking count. Again, the actual on-hit effects are very simple. He doesn't inflict anything new. He just has a lot of shit. His evade, which has 3 effects. I mean, more, but 3 green effects. At unlock stage X, gain coin power. Combat start, gain poise count. On evade, gain poise. Turn end at below unlock stage X, activate the following effects. Gain unlock stage Y. If Grace the Prescript stack is less than X, raise to Y. Gain karmic consequences at the start of the next turn for every Y Grace of the Prescript gain from the effect above. So that's interesting. This kind of skips the need to build up Grace of the Prescript by just doing it yourself. That's really interesting from a lore perspective as well. Not to get too, like, character analysis-y, but, I mean, Rien in the final battle does finally take his own will, in a way. Which I think this is what that's meant to represent. That's very interesting. I don't know how good that'll be. I think this, out of all of the index IDs, you definitely don't want to get karmic consequences on, just because pulling the weapon of your choice, or the weapon that the skill wants, is probably pretty important for your damage conditionals, considering he doesn't actually have that many of them. I mean, I'm sure his Shin gives him some. Min-max speed, more poise potency and count. If his unit's SP is higher than the target's, deal more damage, yeah. I mean, even if that Or no, for every X. I thought it was just for every SP difference. So for every X SP difference, that's probably for every 5 SP difference, if I had to guess, maybe 10. Probably like 30% free damage. That sounds about right. But like on the actual coins themselves, there's not many damage conditionals. It's mostly within the pulling the right weapons. Which again, I think is much more fun than... At X plus sinking, deal 50% more damage. So, this is an interesting way to bypass. And also, I assume this is at a pretty high unlock stage, so it's just a good evade after that certain point, because 3-star base evade is always 14, pretty much. Anything more than that is a very reliable evade, even nowadays. Okay. No beating around the bush here. Furioso Replica, 9 coins. So I was ready to make a joke, if I were to like stream this or talk about this in any regard, of like, Yisong loves reusing coins. Like, so much. Like, Pequod, Ring Yisong, and then I thought this guy was also going to do it too. But no, he just has 9 coins. And I don't know if that's like better or worse than having a reuse. It's worse for clashing, but I have no clue what this is going to roll, min or max. I have zero idea. Is this meant to be balanced? Because if it's meant to be balanced, this has to roll like nothing. But if it's meant to be cool, then this rolls a 35. So it could be that they have a base power of 1 on this. But again, I feel like they are going to want to make it cool, so people want to use the funny roll-in skill. So I don't know. Anyway, Unfocused Volley, because of course it had to have that. Only 1 copy of this skill can exist on the dashboard. I wonder why exactly that's there. I mean, I guess just because... Duh. If this skill is marked with Mark of the Prescript, deal more damage. This skill's coin power does not change. Good. Instead, for every X net coin power increase, gain final power and deal more damage. The skill is not affected by Paralyze. Huh. That's an interesting way to get around ego gifts. Because, yeah, it definitely needed to get around ego gifts. Gain final power for every X poise on self plus sinking on target. Okay. I can't imagine that's more than 3, but either way. Combat start, convert all coins on this skill to unbreakable coins. Inflict sinking or gain poise with every hit of this skill. Does not gain Procuration Hermes for this turn. On use, gain Clash Power. That makes sense, because again, I am pretty sure this is not going to roll the best. So gaining Clash Power makes a lot of sense. Gain Poise and Poise count. It'd be really funny if the Clash Power is just like plus 30. I don't think it will be. It'll probably be like plus fucking 7, something like that. After attack, inflict burn, bind, and fragile next turn to all targets this unit hit. Then consume all Procuration Hermes, and on the 9th coin, weapon assigned to this coin is fixed as Scythe, deal more damage on crit, and inflict sinking count. I've been talking for 28 minutes, and I haven't even gone through, like, how I think he's gonna play. Or numbers, or anything. Fuck it, this is gonna be a bit of a long video. Because I think, if I'm getting overwhelmed by this kit, and I've been reading ID kits for years, then I think a lot of people are going to be confused. Here's the thing. He's surprisingly not complicated. There's just a lot going on. All you need to know is if you've used the index IDs in the past, the only thing that's different is that you just need to continue hitting with the Mark of the Prescript. You don't have to do the skill 3 thing. You're just... After the second Prescript activates, either you can maybe use the evade if you want to skip. I don't know why you would. Yeah, I don't know why you would, because you want to get to the max Hermes anyways to use Furioso. But maybe you can use the evade if you want. Yeah, standard index stuff, and then after this point, you want to, remind myself, you want to hit with Unbreakable Coins, which you get Unbreakable Coins via the unlock stage, so you'll get more Procuration Hermes as you complete prescripts because it's based on the unlock stage. Yeah, because by the time you have the need to get to max Hermes stacks, you're already in unlock 2, which I assume means that all of these coins are unbreakable, 2 of these coins are unbreakable, and 2 of these coins are unbreakable. Which should be plenty. If this passive is Resonance, you're going to want to activate that like basically every turn forever. If it's owned, then it shouldn't be a problem. Because assumedly this is like Gloom owned, maybe 4. And if you're using other index IDs, that'll be easy enough. And if you struggle for it, then build a team that gets Gloom, I guess. Again, if it's owned, it shouldn't ever be a problem. Because the only time you're really going to need this is after you've already done some of your prescripts, and that's after some turns have gone by. Obviously, it's good to have all the time, because you are always going to want unbreakable coins to be giving you more Procreation Hermes to get to the funny skill faster. That's really, like... It's really about it. There's just a lot of extra things onto this ID to make him even cooler, and, I mean, by golly, it works. I can't believe they made a 9-coin skill that inflicts sinking count on every single one of its coins, if you play it right. And also I have a sneaking suspicion this might be more than one sinking count. It might not be. But considering the coins crack from, like, last one first, this might be a pretty decent amount of sinking count. So it's crazy to say, we might have a 9-coin sinking count positive skill. I can't say I'm surprised that he follows the same format as the other index IDs. I can say I'm surprised they went all the way. Like, they left no stone unturned, no gimmick unimplemented. And I have to respect that. I have gone over my recording time. This is a very awkward video to come out and have in between, like, not uploading for a little while again. But I've been streaming, so I've been a good boy. I'm gonna cut that out. I've been a good content creator. I just haven't been making videos. I've been doing other things. But I had to talk about this ID. I had to. Like, first 3 coins, I actually have to check to make sure. Like, they might have genuinely released another page. I don't think so, but I feel the need to check. Okay, we're okay. Thank God. I don't want another incident where I forget a page for kit reveals. This is... Man. I mean, what do you even say? People really thought this would be a burn season. No, this is sinking again, and I think that's fine. We will get our burn IDs in time. Technically, Furioso is a burn skill, and technically he inflicts self-burn, but don't call him a bleed ID because he gains bleed. That's ridiculous. I see no world where this guy is not busted. Those are my closing thoughts. I'm probably gonna stream polling for this guy on Wednesday when he comes out because I really want to see this for myself. I did not believe he would have 9 coins. I was for sure thinking there was some attack weight bullshit happening in that trailer, but no. No. 9 coins. Furioso replica. Fuck you. I mean, not much more to say than this video ends now.